5 years ago, my boyfriend Sal handed me a gift, a purple rose sealed inside a crystal ball. Now, at first, I thought, "Aw, thank you, babe, this is cute." But when you're a mystic, nothing is just cute. Everything is coded, everything is communication. And that's exactly what I want to talk to you about today, because some of you swear up and down that your prayers never get answered. You say, "I've been praying for a sign, I've been asking for guidance, I've been manifesting and nothing is happening." But let me give you a little tough love real quick. Your prayer probably did get answered. You were just sitting in the Five of Cups, or even worse, the Four of Cups when it arrived. You were so focused on what you lost or what didn't work out or who disappointed you or what's stressing you out right now that you missed the blessing sitting right behind you or right next to you or literally handed to you.
Where magic meets mindset, where the moon lights the way, manifesting with Mystique, every law's in play. It's align it, believe it, receive it, with Mystique you'll achieve it, manifesting with Mystique. Your cosmic path is clear.
You're not being ignored, you're being distracted. And distraction is the enemy of perception. The Five of Cups will have you crying over what's spilled, while the universe is standing behind you like, "Hey, sweetie, your blessing is right here." The Four of Cups will have you side-eyeing your own miracle like, "Ugh, not that. It's not big enough. I want a different one." So today we're going to talk about how one simple gift, this purple rose in a crystal ball, became one of the clearest messages I've ever received from Archangel Sandalphon, and how your blessings and answers might already be in your house, in your car, in your relationship, in your conversations, and you haven't recognized them yet. I'm Mystique, your 1111 coach, and on this channel, we talk magic, cosmic law, angels, and tarot. And the foundation of this collective is simple. You deserve perfect health, abundant wealth, perfect self-expression, and relationships that are love-based and fair exchanges of energy. Let's talk about why your signs show up the way they do, and why some of you missed the last 5 that heaven already sent. All right, celestial mystics, let me lighten the mood for a second, because some of y'all are out here praying for signs, and then when spirit sends the sign, you act like you're on spiritual do not disturb. It's like asking the universe, "Please send me a blessing," and then the blessing pulls up like, "Hey girl, I'm outside," and you're in the house like, "Nope, I didn't order that. That's not my package." Some of y'all treat manifestations like DoorDash. If it ain't delivered exactly the way you pictured it in your mind, you're like, "I wanted angel wings, not chicken wings. Send it back." Meanwhile, spirit is like, "Ma'am, if you don't take this blessing, unwrap it and stop playing." And listen, we've all been there. We get so attached to how the thing should show up that when it comes through the side door, the back door, the window, or through somebody you didn't expect, you think it's a mistake. But here's the cosmic joke. Blessings don't knock. They sneak in like teenagers after curfew. They slide into your life quietly, naturally, in ways that make perfect sense once you finally realize what you're looking at. So today is about learning to laugh at the moments you missed it, so you can start noticing the moments that are meant for you. All right, let's get into the real lesson. Now let's get into what all of this really means, because when I tell you that Sal didn't just give me a gift, he delivered a message, I'm not exaggerating. This is a full masterclass in how spirit speaks through matter. Let's start with the angel behind the message. Archangel Sandalphon is the angel who takes your prayers, the ones you whisper, the ones you cry, and even the ones you don't have words for, and he braids them into light and carries them upward. Sandalphon is the angel of manifestation, of music, of grounding, of divine timing, and of earthly confirmations. His entire purpose is to help your prayers land in your actual reality. So when something comes into your life that feels physical, symbolic, oddly specific and deeply personal. That's Sandalphon's signature. That's how he works. Now let's talk about Malkuth, the kingdom, the physical world. On the tree of life, Malkuth is the realm where energy becomes solid, ideas become real, and prayers become events. It's the place where spirit becomes matter. It's everything you touch, everything you see, everything you experience in the physical world. So when heaven wants to send you a message you cannot miss, they send it through Malkuth, through a person, through an object, through a moment, through something you can literally hold in your hand. That's exactly what happened with this gift. Now let's look at the symbolism inside the gift. A purple rose is rare, it's not common, and it's definitely not random. Purple carries the vibration of the crown chakra, divine connection, and spiritual insight. The rose carries the vibration of the heart, devotion, sincerity, and love. When you put them together, you get a message that says, this is a prayer of the heart touched by heaven. It's a sign of divine alignment and spiritual protection. It represents a blessing that comes from both the heart realm and the higher realms at the same time. And then there's the crystal ball. A crystal ball represents clear sight beyond illusions. It represents protection. It represents divine timing. It represents the union of heaven and earth. A rose sealed inside a crystal sphere is like the universe saying, this blessing is protected, preserved, and meant specifically for you. It is a spiritual message made permanent in physical form. So when you combine Sandalphon, who delivers prayers, with Malkuth, the realm where prayers land, with the purple rose, which is the heart meeting the crown, and the crystal ball, which represents manifestation and vision, the message becomes clear. A prayer you prayed long ago was acknowledged, answered, and returned to you in physical form. Now let's talk about how this applies to your life right now. Some of you already received your answer, and you don't even know it. Not because spirit didn't deliver, but because your blessing didn't look like what you pictured in your head. You expected something dramatic. You expected something big. You expected angels singing and fireworks exploding. But instead, your answer came through an everyday moment, a conversation, a suggestion, an object, a dream, a shift in energy, a new thought, a person you didn't expect to be used as the messenger. This is how it plays out in real life. You pray for a new opportunity, and instead of a huge breakthrough, someone casually mentions a job or an idea or a resource, and you brush it off because it didn't look magical enough. You pray for a healthier relationship, and instead of a fantasy romance, someone genuine, grounded, steady, and emotionally safe shows up, and you ignore them because they didn't match your dream version. You pray for a sign, and the sign shows up as a feather, or a dream, or a book recommendation, or a repeated message, or even a small gift, and you don't recognize it because you were expecting something bigger. Just like I held that purple rose and crystal ball for years without realizing that Sandalphon had answered a prayer of mine through the hands of someone who loved me, it was there. It was delivered. It was received. But the meaning didn't activate until I was finally in a place to perceive it. So the real teaching here is simple. Your manifestations are not delayed. Your perception is. Once you can see the blessing, you can participate in it. Once you recognize the sign, you can follow it. Once you honor the symbol, the next door opens. This is how spirit communicates, not always in thunder, sometimes in a rose, sometimes in a crystal sphere, sometimes in the hands of someone who cares about you. And when you're finally ready to see it for what it is, everything clicks. Let's take a moment to really talk about Sandalphon, because most people don't understand just how close his energy actually is. Out of all the archangels, Sandalphon is the one who lives the closest to humanity. He's the one who understands what it feels like to be human, to struggle, to hope, to pray, to doubt, and to want something so deeply that your chest aches with it. Sandalphon is one of the only archangels who was once human. That means he knows what it feels like to walk this earth, to make mistakes, to learn lessons, and to grow spiritually through real-life experiences. So, when you call on him, you're calling on an angel who still remembers what it feels like to be in a body. That's why his messages always feel so personal. They meet you where you are. Most angels whisper through intuition. Sandalphon whispers through matter. He communicates through objects, music, timing, gestures, coincidences, and the physical world. If Metatron speaks like a cosmic download, Sandalphon speaks like a sign you can touch. Sandalphon rules the realm of answered prayers. He's the angel who takes the things you've been asking for and brings them downward through the tree of life until they finally land in Malkuth, which is your physical, everyday reality. When something arrives in your life that carries beauty, love, softness, and an unexplained sense of meaning, Sandalphon is almost always involved. He's also the angel of music and vibration. That means he speaks through songs, lyrics, melodies, and the energy behind sound. Sometimes you'll ask for a message and a song will play out of nowhere. Sometimes you'll be thinking about something and a lyric will answer your question. That's Sandalphon. His communication style is musical, rhythmic, and gentle, but deeply intentional. Now let's talk about why he used a purple rose inside a crystal ball as the messenger. Sandalphon works with symbols, but he doesn't use symbols that feel random or confusing. He uses symbols that speak directly to your heart. He chooses things that resonate with your personal journey, your personal emotions, and your personal spiritual language. He uses objects that already mean something to you, or objects that will gain meaning through time. A rose represents love, sincerity, and the soul's deepest wishes. Purple represents spiritual elevation and divine connection. A crystal ball represents vision, manifestation, and protected insight. Sandalphon didn't just send you a message. He sent you a personalized message, one that blended the heart, the spirit, and the physical world into one single object. Sandalphon is also known for weaving prayers. In mystical teachings, it is said that he gathers the prayers of humanity and forms them into spiritual bouquets. The purple rose inside that crystal sphere is literally a spiritual bouquet made physical. It represents a prayer you sent upward, being gently returned back to you. This is how Sandalphon works. He doesn't shout, he doesn't force, he doesn't overwhelm, he nudges, he guides. He places something in your life that feels familiar, comforting, and meaningful. He waits for you to notice. And when you finally recognize the significance of the symbol, that's when the next part of your spiritual path is revealed. Sandalphon is the angel who says, "Your prayer has already arrived. Let me help you see it." Now let's talk about how this applies to your life, because it's one thing to understand the symbolism, but it's another thing to recognize how Sandalphon is already moving through your world right now. Most people miss their blessings because they expect something dramatic, something obvious, something that looks supernatural. But Sandalphon doesn't usually move like that. His miracles slide into your life the same way you slide into a comfortable pair of shoes, quietly, naturally, and in perfect timing. Think about the last time you prayed for guidance. You might have expected an angelic visitation or a dream with flashing neon lights. But instead, someone gave you advice that didn't seem deep at the moment. Or you stumbled across a video that answered your question. Or a stranger said something that hit your spirit. Or someone gave you a small gift. Or made a comment. Or opened a door for you without realizing what they were doing. These are Sandalphon moments. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine you've been praying for more money or more stability. You wanted a windfall, but instead someone told you about a better job, or someone randomly mentioned a class you could take, or someone showed you a new skill or a new way to think about your finances. You didn't get the money, but you got the path to the money. And because it didn't come wrapped in $1,000 bills, you didn't notice that your prayer had already landed. Or maybe you've been praying for love. You expected a soulmate moment where the sky opens and violins start playing, but instead, someone patient, consistent, and emotionally safe entered your life. Someone who treats you right. Someone who shows up. But because it didn't feel like the fantasy you pictured, you didn't recognize that Sandalphon brought you exactly what you asked for. It works the same way with healing. You pray for clarity, and instead of instant clarity, you get a journal prompt that hits your soul. You pray for strength, and instead of superhuman confidence, you get a conversation that makes you think differently. You pray for transformation, and instead of waking up brand new, you meet someone who triggers your shadow work so you can grow. Sandalphon uses real life to shape spiritual outcomes. And this is the part most people miss. Sandalphon doesn't usually bring the final version of the blessing. He brings the first piece, the first clue, the first step, the first confirmation, the first shift. The purple rose in the crystal ball wasn't the final message. It was the activation. It was the nudge. It was the universe saying, look closer. Something sacred is happening here. So here's your real life application. Pay attention to the small things, the small ideas, the small opportunities, the small moments, the small signs. Ask yourself, what arrived that didn't look like what I expected? What conversation replayed in your mind? What object caught your eye? What advice stuck with you? What did someone give you that felt oddly meaningful? Sandalphon is subtle, but he is faithful. He always delivers. And the moment you recognize the first piece of the message, the rest of the path opens up and blessings begin to speed up, clarity sharpens, opportunities align, and suddenly you stop feeling like you're waiting and you start feeling like you're receiving. Because you are receiving, you just needed to notice. Before we move forward, let's take a moment to center ourselves with a morning prayer and meditation. This is for anyone who has ever felt overlooked by life or forgotten by heaven or unsure whether their manifestations were working. This is to heighten your awareness so that you can see the blessings that are already around you, the ones that arrived quietly, gently, in the way Sandalphon moves. If you can, place your hand over your heart, close your eyes, take a slow breath in through your nose, and exhale through your mouth like you are releasing yesterday. Now let's pray. Divine Creator, thank you for allowing me to wake up today with breath in my lungs and purpose in my spirit. Thank you for every blessing that has entered my life, whether I noticed it or not. Open my eyes, open my ears, and open my inner knowing so I can recognize the gifts you have already placed around me. Remove distractions from my path. Remove the fog from my mind. Remove the heaviness from my heart. Help me see clearly, feel deeply, and listen closely. Archangel Sandalphon, angel of grounded blessings and answered prayers, walk with me today. Heighten my awareness, sharpen my perception, guide my footsteps toward the things that matter. Reveal the blessings I have overlooked. Reveal the opportunities I have walked past. Reveal the answers that are already here. Help me recognize the signs, the symbols, the synchronicities, and the gentle nudges you send my way. Let me not miss the messages meant for me. Now take another deep breath in. As you exhale, imagine your awareness expanding like a soft light in your chest. Imagine clarity flowing through your mind like warm air. Imagine your senses waking up, your intuition brightening, your inner guidance aligning. Repeat these words silently or out loud. Today I am awake. Today I am present. Today I am receptive. Today I see the blessings in my life. Today I recognize the signs. Today I honor the guidance that comes my way. Today I walk with Sandalphon, and let that settle into your spirit. Take one more deep breath in and release it gently. When you're ready, open your eyes and come back into the space knowing that something inside you just shifted. You are more aware, you are more open, and you are more aligned with the blessings already unfolding around you.
Ayo, hold up before you dip out. Let me holla at you real quick. This is DJ Jamal, and if Mystique just opened your third eye with this message, don't stop here. You heard her. That purple rose in the crystal ball wasn't just a story, that was a whole angelic download from Sandalphon himself. And trust me, you're gonna want to finish the assignment. Slide over to part 2 for the nighttime version of this message. That's where Mystique takes you into the dream realm, slows your spirit down, clears your subconscious, and lets Sandalphon work on you while you sleep. That's the one that reprograms your whole awareness so you can actually see the blessings moving in your life. And listen, if you're trying to really tap in, make sure you check out the seals on the Hidden Hymns Archives channel. I'm talking the full planetary and angelic seals, including the one for this message right here, Purple Rose in a Crystal Ball. You already know how we do over there. It's sound, it's magic, it's vibration, and it's coded. If you don't know, it's definitely time that you find out it's time for abundance, baby. So go ahead and like, subscribe, share this with somebody who needs to wake up spiritually, and then get yourself over to part 2 so we can finish tuning your frequency. This is DJ Jamal signing out. Stay blessed, stay tuned, and stay tapped in.
Malkuth opened up and said, I finally understand this. Love that forms in spirit always finds a way to fall into shape and into matter, like a rose inside a crystal ball. Purple rose.